the trade war with China.
Yeah.
Reuters reporting now that China's stopping buying U.S. soybean. Should North Dakota farmers be concerned about this ongoing, debate?
Well, we don't. Certainly, it's a debate. We certainly don't want a protracted trade war with China. Although I don't think soybeans will ever be the problem. Frankly, soybeans was a really bad poster child, agricultural poster child. I think for China to choose to retaliate on the proposed steel tariffs because soybeans are in short supply in the world. The United States grows 40% of the world's soybeans. Brazil grows 50%. Argentina basically grows the other 10, or at least 8. So when you have a very limited supply of a commodity that's in high demand, commodities being fungible, it means if China says we're not buying any more U.S. Soybeans, that just means that they're going to have to buy all of Brazil's, and all of Brazil's customers become our customers. And that's been proven through this little skirmish that we're having. Other than the initial day when China announced the proposed tariff on soybeans, the price of soybeans dropped, in the United States, dropped 40 cents immediately. They went up $1.50 in South America, and then they started to go back up in the United States. And today, after all of this, hand-wringing, soybeans are 8% higher today as we record this. On the year. So soybeans are not a great example of the downside because, again, in fact, I would say with arbitrage trading, which is pretty common right now, it's just natural that a limited supply with a growing demand will always pull price up. So I don't worry about soybeans per se that much. But there's the broader issue of just trade in general, and I think that a protracted trade war would not be good for the United States, but it'd be worse for China. And this is what Donald Trump intuitively not only understands, but trusts. China has a $500 billion trade surplus with the United States. They've been lying, stealing, cheating, stealing our technology, violating the WTO rules that they are bound to obey, and we've let them. And now we have a new sheriff who's intercepted this can at the end of the road, and he said, no more. You have more to lose than we have to lose. So today, as we sit here, our first big delegation, and I mean major delegation, you've got the Secretary of Commerce, the U.S. Trade Representative, so you have Wilbur Ross, you have U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, Peter Navarro, the trade representative in the White House, Larry Kudlow, the president's economic advisor. So he's got his top guns meeting with the Chinese officials, laying down the groundwork. And one of the rules, one of the first demands that they laid on China was, do not harm our farmers, do not put tariffs on agriculture commodities. So I think he's looking out for agriculture. I think he's telling China, if you want our business, 20% of the consumption in the world is in the United States, or 20% of the world's economy is the United States, start playing by the rules. And I don't think that's too much to ask.
Even if this administration can hammer out a better trade deal in the future, until that happens, if the trade war persists, for the farmers sitting at home, even if it just goes on for a few months, and they could still be suffering in that time.
So it's a great point, because there is some short-term anxiety, obviously, in a long play, and then that's, let's face it, a trade negotiation is a long-term play. But even at that, and we don't want that. We don't want a long-term trade war. The president has stated that he will have our farmers' backs, that he's going to provide a safety net and ensure that our farmers are not hurt in the short run while he negotiates in the long run. Whether that becomes necessary or not, who knows? But I will say this, the timing for agriculture is pretty good. Even when we talk about soybeans, for example, the longest term price of soybeans today is our August soybeans, and that's not even our soybeans. That's the soybeans from South America, because of course it's their harvest season. We're just starting planting in North Dakota. So future soybeans are well into more like November or December. So from that perspective, we actually have some time. Do I want this to continue? I do not. I want a better deal negotiated sometime in the next few months. I expect that will happen, and if not, the president has promised a safety net to make sure that our farmers aren't hurt by it.